Hello everyone, good afternoon. We're live on the Trade Decorator Festival and thank you everyone for joining me. We're live on Crowdcast and we're live on Facebook. If you're over on Facebook joining us and you'd like to get involved in the conversation and enter our competition, there's a link there on Facebook that you can click and pop over onto the session live and put your questions to Marty later in a live Q&A. Now, what we're going to be doing in this session is taking a look at the SIROFLEX painting and decorating troubleshooting kit. That consists of three products, which are the OB1 Sealant and Adhesive, the OB1 Multi-Surface Paint Remover, and the SIROFLEX Instantly Paintable Cork. So we're going to see a demonstration of these products, and then following the demonstration, we will go to a live session where we'll be joined by Marty McAleenan, who's the Business Development Manager at SIROFLEX, and he'll be available to take all your questions in a live Q&A. Now, for those of you that haven't been on the platform before, you'll see there's a comments box. Feel free to comment as we go along. If you do have any questions, if I could ask that you just wait until we're joined by Marty to put those questions into the questions box, as we will leave this session via the green button beneath me that says join Q&A. So if you could make sure you don't press that button until I ask you to a little later in the session, as I wouldn't want to lose anybody and you have any difficulty getting back into this session. So let's start with the demonstration, and I'll see you all in a few minutes.
Welcome to OB1 SIROFLEX. Today what we're going to bring to you is what we call the PDT kit. What it basically means is the Painting and Decorators Troubleshooting Kit. Within this kit we have three products. We have the OB1 Sealant and Adhesive, we have SIROFLEX Instantly Paintable Cork, and we have the OB1 Paint and Varnish Remover. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the process of demonstrating the exceptional features and benefits of these three products together. After that, what we will do is we will enter into a Q&A technical session where I will endeavour to answer your questions as quickly, as promptly and as honestly as possible, without any marketing bump, just pure technical responses to your questions. Right, so the first thing that we're going to show you is the applications of this product. It's absolutely amazing formulation. Formulation that I personally have worked with for the last 15 years. And still to this day, amazes me at what it actually can and has done over the course of them 15 years. As you'll see on this block, the numerous substrates within the building trade that it can be used on. Copper, marble. It contains no solvents, so therefore will not flash off against the back of the marble, staining the marble. For your roofing applications, your lead, your felt. For your PVCs, your UPVCs. Here you'll see polycarbonate. In the polycarbonate you'll see this blue. What that actually is water dyed blue, so you can see the seal on it. More relevant to yourselves as painting and decorators, what you'll see here is your skirting and your little bits of fascia finishings attached using the OB1. A lot of you have asked, can it be painted? Well, this is actually the colour range. Now you'll find here, particularly in external applications or non-cosmetic applications, that you'll find a colour within the range that will tone in without it actually being painted. However, it can be painted with water-based paints. Synthetic paints, oil-based paints, you need to test the area, because what we have discovered over time is very simply is that there are levels of oxide and oxide within the paints that can slow the curing process down in relation to oil-based paints in particular. So a test area. What I always tell people is leave the product for 24 hours before painting. You get better results that way. Some people make claims that you can paint it within 15 minutes. Personally, from a technical perspective and a non-problematic perspective, leave it for 24 hours. Here you'll see is your bathroom panels and your mirror. Again, no solvents, doesn't attack the back of the mirror, doesn't attack the plastic, doesn't melt the plastic. What you'll see here is, you'll see a small surface area of product. Look at the tensile bond, the strength of the product. Now that is the applications that we have for the OB1. You might say to yourself, right, a lot of them aren't relevant to myself within the painting and decorating industry. However, it's just to show you the actual properties of the product. This product here is food safe. It conforms to indoor air emissions. It is also EC1 plus rated. It also is a product that conforms to LEED building product projects, meaning that it is an environmentally friendly product. Now, environmentally friendly, when I say a product, I mean what's inside the cartridge. Now, a lot of these types of products would make claims, performance claims, that they work in the wet. For us, we like to show you this. Now, it's not that relevant to you guys, but I just want to show you the performance levels of this product. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to take this little plastic cup, we're going to fill it with water, like so. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to create an immediate underwater bond, like so. And what you'll see here is an immediate seal on the water. Now this product is very easy to work with. So underwater, what you can actually do is you can spread the product, like so, even on the water. So you have tricky situations where you need to get around behind a pipe, in around a shower tray, or in around fittings that are wet or damp. It's not an issue. Now, some people will say, got it on your finger, it's going to be there forever, but it's not. It is such a user-friendly product. Just wipes away. With a dry cloth, it's gone. A very, very user-friendly product. Now, what I also want to show you is, when we say it seals, the seal is immediate. So there's a knife going through that cup, and you see the seal is immediate. Now, the other thing about it is, if you have a leak, let's say you have a leak in a spouting when you're doing a bit of external painting and you need to get the leak fixed. There's the problem, and there's the solution. So as we say in OB1, job done. Now what we're going to work on is the SIROFLEX instantly paintable caulk. And when we say instantly paintable, we mean exactly that. You don't have the issues when you paint caulk too early. A lot of caulks contain about 40% of water. If it's painted too early before it fully cures, what happens is the water evaporates, the caulk collapses in, and the paint that's on the surface cracks and grazes, leaving it an unseemly mess. Okay, this will not happen with this product. This product can be used in door sills, window frames, plasterboard holes, settlement cracks, nail holes, all those little things within the trade that needs fixed. Unfortunately for the painter and decorator, he comes in to do the job and he has to pick up on all the little things that have been left behind and fill in and get in and out as quickly as possible. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tie the OB1 and the SIROFLEX instantly paintable caulk together in one application. Here we have a little bit of scouting board. Common application for you guys. So it could be scouting board, it could be a fascia panel, it could be a little dado rail, it could be anything. So what we do is we dot and dab the OB1 like so. And we fix it to the plasterboard. Once again, plasterboard is a very, very common thing for you guys to be working with. So we fix it to the plasterboard like so. And there we have, because of the grab nature and the high tensile strength of the product, we have an immediate fixing. Now we do it, raise it up like I said, just to show you the grab of the product. Okay. Next thing is we take the SIROFLEX instantly paintable cork and we fill in that gap with the instantly paintable SIROFLEX cork. So as you see, we just apply it normally. And I'll put quite a bit on there just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to fill it like so and spread it. You get a nice smooth finish. And so as you see, we've just applied the SIROFLEX instantly paintable, and what we're going to do now is we're going to paint it immediately. And I'm sure, as you can notice by my brush strokes, I'm not a painter and decorator. I leave that to you guys. So there we have it. Application, OB1, apply the SIROFLEX instantly paintable and paint it immediately. Look at the time and cost that will save. So many times I'm sure you guys have gone in to do just a normal wee job and you find, oh, that skirting needs replaced or that skirting needs filled. Here you have all options in the PDT kit. So now we move on to the third and last of our PDT kit. What it is OB1 paint and varnish remover. This product here is a product that is free of methylene chloride. It contains no nasties, no need for harsh chemicals, there's no need for flame to remove your surfaces of paint. This particular product will remove all layers of paint. Depending on how many layers there is, it will depend on how much product that you need to use. So what we have here in front of us, we have gloss, we have stain, and we have varnish. So we're going to apply the product on each of these surfaces. Firstly, the gloss. Secondly, the stain. Thirdly, the varnish. Now we do like to let it sit for a little bit, for 2 or 3 minutes whilst it's starting to break up the binders in the paint. But however, what we'll do is, we'll give it a go now and we'll see how it actually works. So what you'll see is, immediately, you see your paint peeling away to the base material. Next thing you'll see is your stain. And again, quite effectively, efficiently, and quite quickly, you see it removing your layers of stain. Now we have the varnish. I'm going to just give this a little clean because there's a lot of paint residue on it. So now we have the varnish. And you see immediately the varnish breaking down. Straight back to your base material. There we go. As we say, OB1, job done. Now I look forward to the Q&A session that's going to follow, and I will get into more depth with you and answer your questions about the products and their ranges. So thank you very much for watching and listening to the demonstration, and we'll move on to the Q&A.
Hi everyone, welcome to our Q&A with Marty McLean from SIROFLEX. Hi Marty, thanks for joining us.
Hello Paula, and hello to everybody else out there. How everybody doing?
Right, what I want to just explain for those of you new to the platform is you'll see there's a comments box just like before. Feel free to comment throughout the session as we go along. I see a couple of you have found the Ask a Question tab beneath us. That's where I'd like you to hit and just type in your questions, and it will enable me to keep track of the session and make sure we don't miss any questions. We will be launching a competition live in this session at the end of the session, where you could win 1 of 10 individual painting and decorating troubleshooting kits. So I'll tell you about that at the end. And in the meantime, we'll take some of your questions. So let's have a look. Mark Smith says, I've used CT1 as an adhesive and been very happy with it. What benefits are there for me changing to OB1?
Okay, well, first and foremost, you'll get exactly the same results with the OB1 product as you did get with the product that you mentioned up until October 2019. And also you have the cost efficiency. It is absolutely more cost efficient because it's a product that comes directly from source from manufacturer.
Okay. John Fletcher is asking, do you need to sand after using the remover to avoid leaving any trace of it before painting?
No, the actual remover will evaporate through the cleaning process. You can sand if you wish, but it's not necessary at all, because once it evaporates after that 30-40 seconds, it's no harm to freshly applied paint.
Okay. And does the paint stripper work on water-based coatings?
It does, but the nature of water-based coatings sometimes is that they're very absorbent. They can get into base materials such as wood. So you might take a surface activity off, but you might see understain in it. But it removes the 95% of the surface activity.
Okay, brilliant. Just to mention, carry on entering your questions in the questions tab like you are, but if you want to come up and speak to Marty, if you want to type in the comments bar that you want to come and ask your question on screen, and I can actually bring you up to have a conversation with us. So our next question's from Callum. He says, OB1 claim the product is #1 on the market, even though it was only released a year ago. How can it be #1 when other bigger known brands have been on the market for years? Well,
Callum, what we refer to is, we're not actually referring to the brand, but we're referring to the actual formulation. I really don't want to get into it in too much depth, but what I can tell you is it is the fastest growing sealant and adhesive on the market. And it has a marketplace retention of 30% at this moment in time. But if you wish to have more detail on the question, don't hesitate to ask me outside of the forum, and I can get into it in more detail with you.
Okay, and I've got some questions for you, Marty. How quickly does the multi-layer paint and varnish remover work?
Well, we tell people, as you see in the demonstration there, it was sprayed, and by the time I got to the last of the 3 substrates that we were using, we're talking about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. I've found, depending on the surface and the layers, I've found that it's nearly immediate in some cases. But if you know that you have multiple layers of paint, or you have varnishes in particular, give it 30 seconds to a minute, and it'll be fine.
Okay, and I think you might have covered this, but does it leave any residue on the surface at all?
No, as long as you clean it away, obviously, when you're scraping your paint away or removing your paint, and the residue will evaporate. And when we say residue, Paula, you're going to get a mess there when the paint is actually breaking down. So let's put that away to one side. But on the surface that has been cleared of the paint, there will be no residue from the actual product itself.
Right, okay. And can it be used on any surface?
What I will tell people is PVCs, UPVC plastics, don't use it in that. There's a substance within it called amine, and that can cause yellow. So do not use it in PVCs or plastics.
Okay, and what sort of coverage can you expect from a can?
You can get up to, depending on your uses, like, everybody's different, but you can get up to about 7.5 square meters.
Okay, I've got a question from Mark Smith about the paint remover. He said, would keying the surface speed it up, or is it best to use it directly?
I'll just use it directly.
Use it directly. You don't need to key it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a process in it, there's a surfactant process in it that actually does that keying process up for you. So it's designed to do all that.
Okay, so it saves you the trouble.
Yeah.
And does it work on all paints?
It works on all paints, but what I will tell you is that in old builds that you will find like ceramic paints and lead-based paints coming back from many years ago, and they're quite stubborn, so they are. But in general, the more you apply it, the more you break them down. But when you come to ceramic-based paints on old lead-type paints, just be patient with it and give it time to work.
Okay, and does it? Should I be wearing protective equipment if I'm using the paint stripper?
The paint stripper doesn't contain the carcinogenic element that used to be within paint strippers and methylene chloride. However, the fact that you're using a solvent expellent within the can, you should always use protective clothing. And anyway, that's dictated by your own personal health and safety, and that's dictated by the company that you work for. And you find when people use aerosols that they must use a mask and they must use hand covering. That's dictated by their own HSE.
Okay, and I've got a question from Paul Wilcoxon. He says, does the stripper affect metallic fittings if it comes into contact with them?
No, you don't get any of that black spotting on metallic fittings that you would get without an aggressive solvent. If you had methylene chloride within the product, you would certainly get that. So you would, but there's no methylene chloride on it.
Okay, and where can we buy the paint stripper from?
Paint strippers are available in brewers, Dulux stores, basically nationwide. It's quite prolific nationwide. It's a product that was a sort of we had requests for the paint and varnish remover type scenario when we launched the OB1 product, and so we didn't really have to do a lot of work, but it was requested. So you get it in brewers, you get it in Dulux trade centres, you get it in small DIY merchants right across the whole of the UK, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. So it's quite prolific in its placement. Okay.
Do you actually have a stockist list that people can have a look at?
I have a stockist list, surely, but I don't have it with me at the minute, Paula. So
no. Is it on your website?
Yeah. If you go to our website, you'll be directed to administration, and administration, if you give them your postcode, they'll put you in contact with somebody that has the product in stock.
There you go. So it's nice and easy to find out where they can get it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question from PJ. He says there are loads of MS polymers on the market. What's the difference about the OB1 MS polymer?
Well, MS polymers really, they hit the market quite a long time ago. MS polymers were available in what we call OEM for some, must be going on 30 years now. And they were a highly protected element. And then they came out, basically hit construction industry about 18 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And it was available from just a few people. The MS polymer stroke hybrid formulation is a formulation that was led by a company called Dunbraven for many years. They were recognized as the benchmark for hybrid sealants, high quality hybrid sealants. What is the difference in MS as well? Basic difference is the ingredients. One is the ingredients that go into it to make the final formulation. Two is, which is very important, is the amount of filler that goes into the product rather than raw material constitutes that make it a good adhesive or sealant. So you have, the trick is with an MS is if you lift the cartridge and you see an MS that's at let's say a price point at $4.95, and you see an MS that's at a price point of $9.99. If you lift the two cartridges of the same color of both, you'll find a significant difference in weight. And the one that's the heavier is the one that's the denser, and that's the one that's the better MS.
Okay. Talking about the sealants and adhesives, is the OB1 paintable?
OB1 is a paintable product. However, a lot of people make claims about the MS hybrids being paintable. And within the makeup of paints do change quite rapidly, and legislation does change quite rapidly. And particularly 2-3 years ago, where the paint that you buy today doesn't adhere to a particular sealant in the way it did 3 weeks ago. But in general, water-based paints are fine. People will make claims you can paint it in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. From a technical perspective, if you can leave it from water-based paints, if you can leave it for 6-8 hours, great. If you're going to use synthetics, oil-based paints, leave it for 24 hours. Always test the area with synthetic and oil-based paints.
Okay. And how long does it take to cure?
3 to 6 mil bead, depending on ambient temperature, will take 24 hours to cure right through.
And can you use this product outdoors, Marty?
Absolutely. Temperature has a huge resistance for the elements such as the weather and fluctuations in temperatures. There's UV stability in the product. What I would say to people is if they're doing roofing applications, don't use a clear product of any shape, form or description, because its UV resistance is quite low. So if you're going to use it outside on a roof application or a point there, use one of the other colours.
Okay. And what is OB1?
OB1. What does OB1 stand for, or what is it?
I guess, what is it?
OB1 is a hybrid formulation. But in the industry, we have polyurethanes, we have acrylics, we have silicons, we have polysulfides, we have an endless list of products that have a technical title. And the hybrid system that OB1 is a product that all the negative points of them different formulations, technologies have been taken out, and all the good points of them have all been put into a cartridge of formulation, which is OB1. What OB1 stands for is the original, the best, and the number one. So it's a hybrid formulation.
Okay. And what do you mean when you say it's been on the market for 15 years?
The formulation has been on the UK market for 15 years, supplied directly by the manufacturer. It's a tested and approved formulation. So it is.
Okay. And how long does the cartridge last unopened, and what about once you've opened it?
Well, the cartridge itself has an 18-month shelf life unopened from date of production. That's what we put on the cartridge.
Okay.
I would, sometimes, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but what I will say is doing QC testing on the formulation from many years ago, I've had cartridges that were 3-year-old and worked perfectly fine. But we say 18 months just to be on the safe side. Unopened, you'll get about 6 months out of it opened.
Okay.
But what I tell people, Paula, is just to do a wee trick. Some people say just press a wee bit out of the top of the nozzle and let it protrude out of the nozzle. If you really want to secure it, get yourself a little bit of clean film, take the nozzle off, get yourself a little bit of clean film, and put the nozzle back on over the clean film, creating an airtight seal.
Oh, that's a clever trick, isn't it? It'll last longer, won't it?
It's too many years at this game. And how
do you tool the joint?
Oh, now that's an interesting question. There are numerous ways of tooling the joint where these types of products are concerned. There are solvent-based products that are out there, and claims are made that they are finishing tools. What I'll say to people very simply is this: the wet finger is probably as good as anyway. Now, there's a myth out there that when you put the finger in the mouth, that you transfer bacteria from your mouth to the sealant. It's a bit of a wives' tale, that, to be perfectly honest with you. So if somebody has been using this method for years, there's no reason why they can't continue. But what I'm going to say is a lot of these products out there, solvent-based products, finishing tools, be very careful of them. If they contain petroleum, which most of them do, what they can do is they can cause staining and discoloration in sealants and adhesive if you use them as a finishing tool. So soap and water, water-based finishers, or the finger.
Okay. And what type of sealant is it?
Type of sealant? Well, again, it's a hybrid sealant. There are numerous technologies out there, so it falls under the hybrid category.
Okay. I've got comments in the comments from Tom. He says he always used CT1 and bought OB1 clear and white for a bathroom project last year.
Mm-hmm.
And within a couple of months, they both discoloured. He said he was told that it needs UV light, but the bathroom did have a large window. Can you explain it?
You do get circumstances with all grades of sealants and adhesives, particularly within the bathroom environment, where you will get toning down of the white, or you might get the grey flashing off a little bit green, getting like an opaque colour. There are three elements involved in that there, and it's not an exact science, so it's not. So what you'll get is you get a situation where a white tones down a wee bit yellow. It could be due to plasticizers coming off from acrylics within the bathroom environment. You get a situation where, let's say, a clear has toned down a little bit, where it's applied to maybe an aluminium frame, where you get oxide lifting from the aluminium in the early stages of curing, which will cause, in any sealant and adhesive, will cause that discoloration. UV light is a big thing, but there is UV stability within the product. So I would say, in this particular instance, it's probably due to one, plasticizers gassing off to substance that has been attached to, or oxide levels within some form of metal that it has been attached to. It's a situation that none of us can avoid. It's a situation that does happen, but thankfully it doesn't happen a lot.
Right. Okay. And he's saying if it's been on the market for 15 years, is it not old technology?
Old technology, well, let's have a look at this here, original. We have, let's take Kentucky Fried Chicken. They add different bits and pieces and different tasters to their recipes over the years, but they always refer back to the original being the best, don't they?
Okay. And talking then now about the paintable cork, how soon can it be painted?
You can paint it instantly. The minute you finish the joint, apply it, finish the joint, you can paint it instantly.
Oh, right. And so why does it not crack?
It doesn't crack because the technology, which is unique to Bostik Akima, is the technology that's within that product. I'm not going to give away the details of the technology because it's patented and owned by the company, but it doesn't contain the level of moisture contents in it, and it doesn't contain the levels of fillers in it. It does to an extent, but it's a totally different technology.
Okay, so will it cause the paint to discolor then?
No, it shouldn't do. Absolutely not.
No. And how wide of how wide can it fill?
8 to 10 mil.
8 to 10 mils. Right. Okay. And why is it different then than standard cork?
Okay, the cork market is a very, very curious market. It runs in 3 levels: low, medium, and high. And that applies to low, medium, applies to 2 particular things: the quality of product and the cost of product. The low end corks are, as I said, 60% full of water, probably more. That's the one that you'll get a 600 ml cartridge, and you'll pay $1.99 for it. The medium corks are the corks that you would use if you have to get out of a tight situation, which are a higher price bracket but a higher quality. And the high end corks are the no nonsense corks. and them no-nonsense caulks contain the ingredients within it that the SIROFLEX one does. So the caulking is down to the individual. What the individual justifies to have in his toolbox is the low, the medium, or the high. So that's basically the caulking market: low, medium, and high, quality, price.
Okay, I've got a question from Callum. He says OB1 sealant product is the run-of-the-mill MS polymer. Are you familiar with Tribid technology?
Right, if Callum wants to explain to me what Tribid technology is, I'd be more than happy to engage with it. But it might, the other people listening here might find this a bit boring, because I need to know what Tribid technology is first and foremost.
Callum, do you want to come up and speak with Marty? If you could type in the comments, I can just bring you up on the screen if you do want to speak. Oh, I don't think he's going to come up. Okay.
Right, let me address that, Paula, in a way. As I explained, there are certain different types of technologies out there, and they're all copolymer, polymer-based technologies, right? So in the world of sealants and adhesives, we have bifunctional copolymers, we have lineal copolymers, and we have trifunctional copolymers, right? And these are the system chains that are used within the formulations of sealants and adhesives right across the spectrum. Now, if Callum is referring to Tribid as a trifunctional copolymer structure, well then that's what it is. But I am not aware of a technology within the sealant and adhesive world that falls under the chemical remit of Tribid. I am aware of trifunctional copolymers.
Okay. I think that brings us to the end of the questions that we've got in the session. We've heard it outperforms hybrid technology. It's from CT1, he says. Okay. I guess, you can't comment on another manufacturer's product. That's all you can really talk about is your own products. Thank you, everybody, for joining the session. I hope that you found it informative and we've answered all your questions. Fran says, great session, great answers. Thank you very much. Thanks, Fran. And thank you, Marty, for joining us.
Always been a pleasure.
I'm going to open up the competition now. There's a box going to appear beneath the screen that says enter competition. If you'd like to hit that and enter your details, all of our competitions will be drawn at the end of the festival, at the end of February. So you've got time to enter whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this on catch up. Please enter, and if you would like to find out where you can buy the OB1 products, then if you go onto their website, and there is details where you can get in touch with them to find out where your nearest stockists are. And I will pop a link on the bottom of the event to our website with all of the rest of the events that you can watch right through till the 26th of February, and can watch any on catch up that have already happened. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Paula, and thank you, everybody else. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.